In this video, we'll go through a few methods and tips which will help you get gold as a new player, especially if you are still leveling and you don't have a level 60 character yet. The amount of gold is not insane and I can't promise get quick reach schemes, but what I will try to do is equip you with the tools necessary to start making gold on your journey to level 60. I've also farmed a bit on a level 10 character to showcase an example of the process as well as the result itself and the amount of gold we managed to get from about 30 minutes of farming and what we managed to sell quickly, which I define quickly as 24 hours. Number 1. Professions. Once you hit level 10 and you reach your capital city, you can pick up professions which are an amazing gold generator, especially if you go for the gathering professions, mining, herbalism and skinning. Now, these will vary with each and every realm or region, so the first thing you can do is go to the auction house and check the general prices for the materials. Now, this will be a bit confusing with the amount of materials available in-game, which come from different expansions, but you can give it a general look and cross-check with Wowhead to see the expansion it comes from. For this example, I created a new character, which I know is a Culturian, but I wanted to have level 10 instantly, and I've created this character on a medium population realm on which I never played before, Dragon Maw EU. I went and checked the auction house and I first looked at the leather and I found that Borean leather sells for 30 gold a piece, and there's not that big of a supply yet. Now, this leather comes from the Wrath of the Lich King expansion, so the next step is to check the prices of the herbs and ores from this expansion as well, so we know exactly which profession to pair with skinning. Looking at the herbs, we have some good prices. Adder's Tongue is 18 gold, Gold Clover is close to 11 gold, Talandra's Rose is 10 gold, Lich Bloom 10 gold as well, Tiger Lily close to the same threshold of 10 gold, so all pretty good prices. Next, let's also check the ores from Wrath of the Lich King, and we have Saronite ore for 48 gold, which is very nice, and an amazing price, even better, of 115 gold per piece for Cobalt ore. Now that we have our decision made, we can travel to Northern via the boat in Stormwind Harbor. In my case, for Horde I don't know the exact route, but you can google that real quick. I also trained the basic skinning and mining in Stormwind before going to Northrend, where you also need to pick up the expansion specific profession skill. To find the profession trainers, you can talk to a guard and they'll mark the trainer for you on the map and minimap. I also picked up a mining pick and a skinning knife from the profession vendors so I can get a slight boost in skill. Now that we're in Northrend, let's farm a bit, and before we dedicate a lot of time farming these materials, what I like to do is to farm a few of them and then test the auction house to see if they will actually sell, since the price might be high but that doesn't guarantee a sell. This step can be bypassed by using the Trade Skill Master add-on, which I'll present a bit towards the end of the video. Bypassed is a strong word. It will give you a general idea if the item will sell, but I'll talk about it later. We found our first cobalt deposit, which will be marked with a yellow dot on your minimap, and the first bounty we get is 3 cobalt ore, which theoretically will give us 345 gold and 1 crystallized earth. Now I'm moving towards a leather farming spot so I can get a few Borean leather as well, and on the way we find another cobalt deposit which gives us 2 more cobalt ore. Now I'll kill a few beasts, loot and skin them so we can gather some Borean leather as well. As you can see, we're getting Borean leather scraps too, and 5 of these can be turned into 1 Borean leather. After farming for a few minutes, we have 2 Borean leather, 20 scraps, which will turn into 4 leather, as well as an assortment of meats and trash that we need to sell, which segues us into the next 2 tips. Number 2. Always vendor trash and don't vendor materials like meat and cloth. Deleting some cheap trash from your inventory to make space for a more valuable item is okay, but as a general rule, especially while leveling, try to sell your trash as it can give you an extra income boost. As you can see, while farming the Borean leather, we also gathered some trash like the fat stained furs which sell for 15 silver, cracked horns for 40 silver, some matted fur which sells for 1 gold and 30 silver, and some other extra items as well, which in the end netted us 2 gold and 98 silver, which I know is not much, but with this extra cash we can afford the postage fees on the auction house. Now that we got the trash out of the way, let's post this on the auction house and I can show you why you should not vendor meat or cloth by default. So we have 9 cobalt ore for 1043 gold and 64 silver, 1 crystallized earth for 1 gold and 14 silver, 1 frosted cloth for 40 silver, 5 chilled meat for 32 gold and 95 silver. This is why you should hold on to these and check first the price on the auction house, as they can fetch a pretty penny. 6 borean leather for 181 gold and 98 silver. 6 rhino meat for 4 gold and 50 silver. 5 work haunch for 25 gold. And 2 crystallized water for 13 gold and 86 silver. It might take a few days to sell everything, even weeks if there's no demand, but you'll keep acquiring goods which you can just post and repost on the auction house every 24 to 48 hours, which normally should bring you a steady stream of gold. Number 3. Green items and recipes might sell for a lot on the auction house. Always check green bind on equip items that drop for you and see if they'll fetch a nice price on the auction house. For the sake of example, I will use the same character and run out of storming for a bit, where I killed some wolves for light leather, found a waterlogged chest which dropped a recipe, killed some bandits and a rare spawn, more green the sly, which dropped 2 green bind on equip items, gathered some copper ore and rough stone, and also killed another rare grizzled band which dropped a small bag and some bear meat. After another few wolves and 1 more copper vein, I went back to Stormwind with my loot straight to the auction house. We have 8 copper ore for 8 gold, 15 rough stone for 613 gold. This seems super inflated and I don't expect to actually sell it at this price, but can't hurt to try. 1 bear meat for 25 gold, as there is no other auction for it, I set the price to something I'm happy with. 7 stringy wolf meat for 105 gold, same as the bear meat, no other auction present, so I set the price I would like to fetch for it. 5 light leather for 5 gold, recipe crocodile steak, no other auction available, so I set it at 50 gold. Jeweled dagger, an astonishing price of 7,989 gold, but since this is not an RP server and it seems super inflated to me, as there's only 1 piece available, I decided to sell it for 2,000 gold instead. Imbued disciple sash for 641 gold, 10 silver from trash, and 2 more light leather for 2 gold from the scraps I forgot to convert. It's been 6 hours since I posted the auctions, let's see what we sold. I also canceled the auctions on which I got undercut and I'll post them again. So we sold a copper ore and we got 7 gold and 61 silver. We also sold the light leather and we got 6 gold and 67 silver. And the big hit is the jewel dagger, for which we got 1900 gold, 3 silver and 70 copper. As I mentioned before, I also cancelled the auctions on which we were undercut and I'll post them again in the hope that they will be purchased soon, but as a general thing it might take a couple of days for things to get sold. But for now, after just 6 hours, we are up to 1916 gold on a level 11 character, and it took only about 30 minutes to get those items. Now that it's been about 22 hours since we first posted the items, let's see what else we sold. And the first surprise is that the rough stone sold for a whopping price of 33 gold and 51 silver per piece, which netted us a total of 477 gold and 52 silver. I was skeptical about this one, thinking it would not sell, but I was wrong. Always post the items, even if the price is inflated, you never know. It might sell just like these did. Next up we have the cobalt ore, which sold for a total amount of 863 gold and 47 silver, and we also got a nice amount of 13 gold and 20 silver from the crystallized water. This brings us to the total amount of 3270 gold, for which we worked for about 30 minutes on a level 10/11 character. Number 4. Level 30 opens up faster farming. Once you reach level 30, you'll be able to fly, which opens up the profession farming a lot, as you'll be able to bypass the terrain and mobs and run straight for the mining deposit or that pretty herb. If you pick the gathering professions, then this level milestone can help you make extra gold, as you can farm more ores or herbs in the same time span. In the same way, it will get even faster at level 40, as you'll learn to fly at 280% speed instead of 150. Number 5. Avoid buying gear while leveling. I know this isn't much of a gold making tip, but rather a gold saving tip. With the leveling speed we have now in Shadowlands, buying gear while leveling should be avoided as much as possible, as the gear is expensive and will be replaced quite fast by the questing rewards you'll get. If you can get some bargains, then all good, but I would advise against spending more than 50 gold for a piece of gear, which will most likely be replaced in the next 3-4 hours of gameplay. 6. Add-ons that assist with gold making. On the add-on side, I won't go too much into detail on their setup, as there are a lot of videos that explain more than I actually know myself, but what I can recommend is to install Trade Skill Master alongside the desktop app. This will provide you with a lot of functionality in regards to the auction house, the professions, as well as the pricing tooltips on the items, so you can see the AH price when you're not at the auction house. This is improved with the desktop app, as the app will automatically load the latest AH prices once every couple of hours, so you'll have accurate pricing without having to scan the auction house in-game. One thing I was mentioning earlier, once you set this up for your realm, you will be able to see the region, sale rate, and the region average daily sold on the items, which tells you how many of these items are sold per day on your region. As far as I know, certain realms are connected in terms of auction house under a specific region, but it might be the whole of Europe as well. I am not sure on this front. These two stats should let you know how often you can expect to sell the item and give you a general idea on how it will perform. Another add-on I recommend is Loot Appraiser. This add-on will show you the amount of gold the items you looted are worth and will alert you when you loot items above your gold threshold. This helps me know in real time about how much I can expect to make, as well as what items are worth it and which ones I can vendor or keep to disenchant later on. Number 7. Old content. Once you hit level 41, you'll be able to run all dungeons in legacy mode, which means you'll get loot accommodated to that level, 30, but you'll also do extra damage. This is a good gold source, specifically if green BoE gear sells for transmog. As an example, I did a run of Zul'Farrak on my level 46 Warlock on Argent Dawn EU, which is a role-playing realm, and in 10 minutes I loaded an item value of 8,943 gold, cloth plus green items, as well as an extra 101 gold from the currency of the mobs drop. This can be very lucrative and fun at the same time, as you can visit a lot of old content, get the achievements, and also farm quite a nice sum of gold along the way. At level 41, the legacy mode should be available for classic, Burning Crusade, and Wrath of the Lich King content, and as a general rule, legacy mode is enabled in dungeons and raids which are 11 levels below your character's level. As a rule of thumb, check and see what works for your server, as a lot of things that work on one server might not work on the next one. I can speak from personal experience, as I've watched guides on YouTube before which were showing methods for 50k per hour, while in reality on my server the same method only netted me 10k per hour due to a different economy. Hopefully this video helps you get started with gold making, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments below. I'll answer as fast as I can and to the best of my ability. Also give it a like if it helped, as liking the video would help me, and yeah, happy gold farming and welcome to Azeroth. Take care.